This story is sponsored by Little River Medical Center. Good morning, everybody. I'm back at Little River Medical Center, and today I am joined by Bonnie, who is the MAT Services Coordinator here at Little River. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. We were chatting beforehand about what you do in general, but can you kind of sum it up for me and for the viewers of what the MAT Services Coordinator does?
Sure. So I assist patients who are looking for treatment with medication for opiate use disorder, which includes buprenorphine, commonly known as Suboxone, and naltrexone, which is commonly known as Vivitrol.
Gotcha. So you have these test strips that you give out to people, you have Narcan that you give out to people. The idea is not to judge, not to shame people, but to give them resources. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Sure. In the country, there were over 100,000 people who died from overdoses. In the state of South Carolina, there was over 2,000 people who died. So we have a grant from the state to give out supplies to people to help reduce the risk of overdose. So the first thing that we give out is Narcan. So Narcan is an opioid reversal agent. So if someone is experiencing an overdose, they're very, very simple to use. There's 2 in each pack, and it has the directions on the back.
Okay.
So very simply, if you encounter someone that you think is experiencing an overdose, first thing you always do is call 911. That way, help is on the way to you. They come pre-packaged and they are ready to go. So you would simply take it out of the pack, put it up the person's nose, and squeeze the pink plunger.
Just once?
Just once.
Okay, and that will do it?
That will give them a dose of the naloxone.
Okay.
So what that does is that throws the opiates off the receptors in the brain, and hopefully will bring them out of that overdose state.
Gotcha.
If it doesn't work, if nothing's happening, you can use the second one.
That's why there's 2 in the box.
That's why there's 2. And wait like 2 to 3 minutes between doses. When someone is coming out of an overdose, they may be confused, they may be physically ill, they may be combative. It's something that's why we want help on the way to us. And I just let people know, like, reassure the person, like, hey, you're okay, help is on the way. But this can save people's lives.
Oh yeah.
And it is not only for people who are using illicit drugs, but everyone. I believe everyone should carry Narcan.
And including all of these test strips too, because I've seen fentanyl obviously talked about a ton, but not this xylazine?
Xylazine.
Xylazine.
So we also provide testing strips for people who are using on the street, because the drug supply has been contaminated with fentanyl and xylazine. So fentanyl, a lot of people have heard about. It's a very, very strong synthetic opiate, causes a lot of overdoses. So we want people to test so that way they can make an informed decision on if they use. The xylazine is newer to the area. It is an animal tranquilizer that has been found in the drug supply. So it makes the Narcan harder to affect. Because it's not an opiate, it's a tranquilizer.
Yeah.
It also is causing abscesses for people who inject or people who have compromised immune systems. So we want people just to test what they're using, and then they can be safer about their use. If they're typically an injection user, they can use by smoking or inhaling. They can use one substance at a time, use with a friend, and then we also give out information on the Never Use Alone hotline. So that is a number that someone can call, and they give the person their first name and their location, and the person just sits on the phone with them while they use their drugs. And they only call for help if the person stops responding.
This story is sponsored by Little River Medical Center.